Liberal Dan Radio presents
Fat Man Rant!
This is a special Fat Man Rant because it's also a coming to terms with activism video. On March 22nd, Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks tweeted the following. I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. This caused an uproar amongst a lot of surprised people, including myself. However, 11 months ago, a conversation between Cenk Younger and Anna Kasparian took place on the Young Turks, and it went like this.
I'm speculating that she doesn't want to say mothers because mothers is gendered and she's worried about offending birthing people. Like birthing people, really? Come on. For me, it's not even like, oh, I don't want to be inclusive and I don't want to think of, transgender people. It's the phrasing, like, it just makes you sound like a weird object that like, you're a vessel and nothing more. Like birthing people just sounds weird. Like if I were pregnant and someone referred to me as a birthing person, I would feel like, why are you calling me that? You know what I'm saying?
Like it's gonna drive everyone away from you. And it's gonna lead to a situation where it's harder to win those rights that we're all fighting for rather than easier to win.
So clearly this line of thinking isn't new for the Young Turks. And they are using the whole whiny, we can't be accepting of people because it sounds weird and it will scare away too many people concern trolling crap. Since when have the Young Turks worried about messaging to argue a freaking point? Come on, man. And I'm sorry, Anna, that sounds a bit terfy to me. Nobody's referring to you directly in this way. They are talking about all of the people who are being harmed by these draconian policies being passed, especially after Dobbs v. Jackson. We have bans on surgical abortions. They are trying to remove the ability of the FDA to approve the abortion pill, etc. Yes, these policies harm women. They also harm many people who are non-binary. They also harm people who are trans men. They harm people who are gender fluid, gender queer, gender non-conforming, indigenous people who are two-spirit, agender, gender neutral, demigender. Need I go on? Do we really need to specifically label every single gender classification in that list and more in order to not offend Anna Kasparian and every other fragile cis woman on the planet who can't take a step back and realize that nobody is degrading them while trying to be inclusive? This is why I'm also including this as a coming to terms with activism video. On my podcast, when I gave my personal opinions on the Dobbs ruling, I never personally used the term birthing person, but I also didn't say that women were harmed by the ruling. I talked about the people harmed by the ruling because I acknowledged that there were more than just women harmed by this activist conservative court and the horrible ruling written by Alito. If we were to have a discussion about the pink tax on products dealing with menstruation, why shouldn't we talk about how it harms people who menstruate? This doesn't reduce people to their parts, it just reduces the discussion to the people who have certain functions that require the products being discussed. When I came up with my coming to terms to activism video series, it was because there are many times when activists use terms that privileged people are shocked by. They hear these terms and their gut reaction is to lash out, like Anna did, because it doesn't sit right with them and their own worldview. My advice to these privileged folks is instead of lashing out, take a step back. Let what you heard or read marinate in your brain. Think it over. Take the time to consider what these people are saying and maybe research what they are saying. Try and consider what is being said from the other person's point of view or from the point of view of those people that the other person is trying to consider. When I failed to do this in the past, all it caused was unnecessary arguments. But when I learned how to do this, I ended up being a better person and a better advocate. I learned how to better understand what other people with different life experiences went through, and I learned how to not allow my worldview to dictate every discussion. Would I talk to Anna Kasparian and call her personally anything other than a woman? Clearly not. But will I continue to discuss important issues that deal with body autonomy in the most inclusive ways possible? Absolutely. So to anyone who gets annoyed by inclusive terms while discussing important issues, I would just say take a step back, take a breath, think about it a while, and try to put yourself in other people's shoes. You might just be a better person for it.